Okay. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us today at Building Week. Over the next hour, we'll be discussing designing restroom for a post-COVID world. This presentation is brought to you by Bavaric Washroom Equipment and Spectrum Lockers. By way of introduction, my name is Nicholas Vanegas. I'm the Architectural Solutions Representative at Allied Technical Solutions. I always like to say that I'm an account manager by trade, but a designer at heart, since I'm also an industrial designer. I'm the link basically between various stakeholders on the architectural projects here basically in Ontario, from manufacturers, architects, designers, and installers. Today, I'm joining from our headquarters in Toronto. For those of you that are not familiar with Allied Technical Solutions, we serve the design community across Canada and the United States. As the manufacturer representative for Bavaric washroom accessories and Spectrum lockers in Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia, I'm thrilled to introduce our two other panelists for today's discussion. First is Alan Gentleman, joining us from Los Angeles. He is the Vice President of External Affairs at Bavaric Washroom Equipment, where he previously served as Vice President of Marketing. Since joining Bavaric's sales promotion department in 1962, Gentleman has played a key role in the expansion of its product line and spearheaded marketing efforts facing distinct market segments, including architects, building owners, property managers, and facility managers. Today, Alan is responsible for counseling on preparation of architectural specifications, on fire codes, building codes, and accessibility standards compliance, as well as providing expertise in the areas of product development and marketing strategy.
Thank you, Nicholas. I'm happy to be with you today.
Alan, we're glad to have you today. Thank you. Secondly, I would like to introduce Clement Ioannidis. He's joining us from Toronto. He's the field sales manager at Bavaric Washroom Equipment. Clement has been working within the industry for over 20 years. Shortly after graduating from University of Toronto, Clement began working with the award-winning company Bavaric Washroom Equipment. Since then, he has been a great contributor to the awards Bavaric has attained over the years, including Advertising Excellence Awards Architectural Record in 2017, Silver Prize for Best Office Project in LA Business Journal in 2017 as well, Commercial Real Estate Awards and Expert Achievement Award in LA Chamber in 2018.
Thanks, Nicholas. Glad to join you guys today.
Clement, we're glad to have you here today as well. So this webinar, it's for those of you that are interested, is eligible for continuing education credits, one continuing education learning hour for architects based in Ontario, and one structured learning hour if you're an architect based in Alberta. For any other Canadian province, feel free to reach out to ATS for support at marketing@ats-sales.ca. So for today's objectives, in today's discussion, we'll discuss the research around COVID-19, how COVID has been transmitted, and also research around areas of high transmission rates. We will also discuss areas of concern for transition in the restroom, recommendations to keep restroom users safe, and finally, we will explore a case study on how to transform existing spaces from product selection to configuration to visualization of a proposed design. So today's agenda. So basically, this is what we're going to do today. First of all, we're going to get some background on new design challenges. Second, we will discuss some options for improving hygiene through restroom design options. Finally, we will bring concepts together through a case study, renovating existing spaces. I have to say that I'm very excited to present this, as we will be using the ATS headquarters in Toronto as an example. Last, we will discuss some considerations on the future of restroom design. I'll give the floor to Alan to present the background on the new design challenges. Alan?
Thank you very much, Nicholas. Let's look at the background on new design challenges in the restroom. First of all, we'll start with the concept of what do we know about today about the transmission of the disease? According to the World Health Organization, the COVID-19 virus can spread from an infected person's mouth or nose in small liquid particles when they cough, sneeze, speak, sing, or breathe heavily. These liquid particles can be of varying sizes, ranging from larger respiratory droplets to smaller aerosols. Other people can catch COVID-19 when the virus is transmitted and it gets into their mouth, nose, or eyes. This is more likely to happen when people are in direct or close contact with an infected person. That's within less than 2 meters apart. This is important to note as we design spaces that minimize both direct and indirect contact while maintaining a managed flow of people in interior spaces. There are links to relevant articles in the presentation copy, which you can request. What do we know today about the places that are where you're most at risk? The New York Times published an interactive graph of their study, which maps out key areas where the most transmission occurs. These spaces that have been identified with the most opportunity for transmission were restaurants, both the fast food type restaurant and the in-dining sit-down restaurant. Also in shopping malls and at the fitness or health gyms. According to the National Collaborating Center for Environmental Health, transmission in a public restroom is of utmost concern because of the following: human behavior, physical distancing, amenity options, ventilation or the lack thereof in the restroom, and restroom maintenance schedules. Again, there are links to relevant articles in the presentation copy, which you can request. There are 5 areas of focus that need to be looked at to evolve the design of the restroom, to keep the restroom user and the general public safe. These 5 areas include traffic planning, physical distancing in small spaces, increase sanitation space, minimize contact surfaces, and increase durability of materials. Let's look at restroom improvements now, and we'll start with traffic planning, which is the first focus area. The challenge we are faced with traffic planning is how do we minimize the number of people using the restroom at one time? How do we minimize the contact between people when they are coming in and out of the restroom? Some of the solutions including determining how many people can safely be in the restroom, improving the signage to remind everyone the need for physical distancing, signaling how many stalls are in use or the number of people in the restroom, and when possible, create one door for entry and one door for exit from the restroom. The second focus area is physical distancing in small spaces. Our challenge here is to maintain 6 feet of spacing in the small space of a restroom. And this could be at the lavatory, at the urinal, or in line for the toilet compartments. And creating physical barriers. Potential solutions include increasing the space between operational stalls, minimizing the open space between the stalls, and that could include creating a more room-like stall in itself, and creating physical barriers between hand washing stations, as is seen in this photograph, where if you look on the left and right of the center lavatory, you'll see a physical divider, a panel that's been installed from the countertop to above the mirror. Regarding minimizing contact surfaces at entrance, here our entrance challenges include there are 2 touch points for the patron entering the restroom. First is the restroom entry door, and secondly, the door to the toilet compartment within the restroom. The potential entrance solutions include using touchless automatic door opening on restroom entry doors, or alternative is blocking open or removing restroom entry doors completely. This eliminates the touch point for the patron entering the restroom, and it also eliminates the touch point to maintain and clean on a daily basis. Using indicators outside of the toilet compartment indicating which compartments are vacant and which are occupied. And another idea is to use a personal antiviral touch key on restroom entry and toilet compartment doors. And the antiviral touch key is shown in the photograph on the upper right. Clement, would you continue our presentation, please?
Thanks, Alan. Next, we want to talk about minimizing contact surfaces active use. Some of the challenges that active use can pose are that there are at least 9 to 10 touch points within a restroom using standard design principles. Some active use solutions could include sensor operated items such as flush valves, faucets, toilet seat covers, soap dispensers, hand dryers and or paper towel dispensers, and automatic tampon napkin disposal. Minimizing contact on surfaces in active use spaces is one thing, but when you're done, now you got to worry about exiting the restroom and the surfaces you have to encounter at that point. The challenge is on 2 touch points within the restroom. Minimizing contact solution as one exits the restroom can be as simple as a waste receptacle near the door. This, of course, only if space allows, making sure you comply with all local barrier-free codes. An automatic door, whether it's wave or motion censored, and of course a sanitation station outside of the restroom. One of the things that we have done in our corporate head office to mitigate this exact issue was to put in the hand washing station outside of the restroom in a common area for open access on both sides, which allows for easier entry and egress. This allows for better hand hygiene, easily accessible for everyone in the office, regardless of having to use the restroom or not. This can be seen in the lower right photo. You'll see that there is a hands-free faucet, a hands-free soap dispenser, and a hands-free towel and dryer combo unit there. Increasing hand washing and those solutions are what's next. One of the recommendations to minimize the transmission of viruses is to increase hand washing, which can be a challenge if you're trying to manage the traffic flow and usage of the restroom. So increasing the number of hand washing stations outside of the restroom is key. Of course, the traditional hand washing station is more likely out of question in existing restrooms since providing access to water is not easy. There are, however, some solutions to this from some manufacturers who have developed a freestanding hand washing station, which comes with its own water supply and power supply, and of course a standalone hand sanitizing station, as you see here. Of course, the last concern is around the efficacy of cleaning and how durable these materials in the restroom will be to the increased cleaning and strength of the cleaning agents. Some of the research has shown that depending on the material, a virus can stay anywhere from 4 hours on copper to 72 hours on stainless steel types of material. This causes an increase in cleaning and for cleaning agents to be stronger. We have seen already that many materials, especially plastics, cannot stand up to the aggressive agents and are needed to be replaced often in 8 months' time after rigorous cleaning. The solutions can be the use of material with antimicrobial finish, ideally that is manufactured in the finish from the manufacturer, as opposed to being a topical application. This will ensure it will not fade over time. The antimicrobial surface will inhibit the growth of bacteria. Ideally, products which are non-porous can withstand the increased cleaning and stronger cleaning agents. Lastly, making product selections or design choices which minimize any sharp edges or crevices to make the increased cleaning easier on the staff and to ensure its effectiveness does not change. So, what are we trying to accomplish? Consider the design of a restroom with the following overarching strategies in mind. Frequent proper hand washing and drying. Signage or indication for proper distancing, hygienic practices. Controlling overcrowding and traffic spaces. Ensure adequate ventilation and airflow quality. Cleaning and disinfecting with the EPA-approved disinfectants, and lastly, increasing the frequency of cleaning. Nicholas, want to take us through a case study?
For sure. Thank you, Clement. So yeah, thank you, Alan. Thank you, Clement, for your inputs. I guess these are just some of the ideas that we have when or the challenges that we face in a post-COVID world. And I'm sure as we get more designs and more policies, some of these are going to be updated. But I mean, this is a great start. What I wanted to leave the audience was with a great case study. I think this is the best way so you can see how the product is applied. This case study is the office renovation, which, as I mentioned before, will be using ATS main office. So I'll give you some background of this for the case study. We decided to take a look at our own office in Toronto to see what we needed to do both in the short and the long term to improve the safety of our employees. Our two-story office building was built in the early 2000s with over 120 employees using basically 3 sets of men and women's restroom inside the office, and 1 set in the warehouse. For your information, everything right now is manually activated in the restrooms. So that includes faucets, soap dispensers, and flush valves. Additionally, some of the restrooms are, as you're gonna see in this picture, or it's not that visible at all. Some of the restrooms are awkwardly shaped, so making it difficult for more than two people to enter and exit the restroom at one point in time. So as our team was looking at how to best upgrade our space, we look at different aspects of in the project. So that included budget, timing, and overall risk, with almost 4/5 of the employees working from home right now. I guess the biggest overall risk in our office we knew was how to minimize the touch points. We knew we were limited to our space design, and the short-term gathering in the restroom wouldn't be a huge concern. So at this point, that was minimized. Product selection was also important because we had a limited budget. As you know, COVID has hit every single company right now, so budget is one of the things that we have to take a look at. Lastly, we had wanted to increase our cleaning and maintenance procedures. We wanted to ensure that we had consumables that wouldn't be affected by the recent shortages due to the COVID-19. Some of the other points we accounted for included, and as you can see here in the slide, were the entry and exit doors, touchless solutions, as I already mentioned, and ease of maintenance and refills, and more physical barriers, and obviously the ease of cleaning of the products that are inside the washroom. So how to improve the traffic flow? That's a key question. So if we deep dive into the traffic flow, we knew our options were very minimal, as each restroom only had one way in or out, which I guess that's very common in today's office spaces. The short-term solution included having signage to limit the number of people trying to use the restroom at a time. So as you can see, we have those. What you can see on the screen is these are designs that we have to limit the number of people that can actually access the washroom or the restrooms. The long-term included working with a company known as Building IQ. For those that are not familiar with this, basically they are developing a smart board to post outside of the restroom, so the restroom user know actually how many people are inside before opening the door. So this works very similar to how the way parking lots work right now. So there are certain lights on the ceiling that indicate if the space is occupied or not, or vacant. So I think this is very key, and I guess this is where all the marketing is going to be going, just coming up with new solutions like this. The increase of physical distance was basically, well, it was very important to us. Once you were in the restroom, how did we minimize the potential the direct contact within the restroom? As you know, as you can see in the pictures, or you can see in the pictures before, the space is very limited. So knowing that we don't have a lot of space to have more than two people at a time, and we wanted to respect, obviously, that it is very difficult to respect the 6 feet distance. The first thing we added was the Spectrum Lavatory Safe Screen. These safe screens are CIFA 3 and CIFA 8 certified material. We knew this will create a barrier that could withstand any chemical material product used to clean the safe screens. So once we knew that we had that option for the lavatories, our next step was to have a full height partitions, and this involved considering evolved cubicles. Similar to the safe screens, we wanted to ensure that we use a high durable material like compact laminate or phenolic that could withstand the chemicals used to clean. As you might know, one of the benefits of the compact laminates is that it doesn't allow bacteria growth, and is great for high traffic environments. And I can tell you that the people that are obviously accessing the restroom, it can be more than 3 or 4 at a time. So obviously we wanted to make sure that we have a product that will withstand those high traffic moments during the day. Looking at the physical entrance and exit of the restroom, obviously was key for us to ensure safe practices. We needed to make some short-term and long-term decisions. Budget and time were key decision factors. So we look at installing freestanding hand sanitizer stations near all the threshold in the office. So it's similar to what Clement just mentioned in Barrick's head office. We just install the sanitary stations close outside of the restrooms, and this obviously included restroom and other areas around the building. We also added a wall-mounted combination towel dispenser and waste receptacle unit instead of a freestanding waste receptacle. So as you can see in the render in the picture here, we just used the unit. We didn't leave any waste receptacle on the floor. So basically, this is located near the doorway, as you can see, for easy disposal of the towel, as we know users' preference to use a disposable towel for door opening. So this is very common in every single office, right? So the next one, now that the most impactful renovations we were able to make in the short term were on functional changes to the restroom and the products included. Obviously, so all the products that were included in the restroom. So we transitioned everything over the sensor operated products. For us, this meant direct replacement of all the flash valves, as you can see on the urinals on this picture on the render. Similarly, we went with the Barrick automatic faucet and sub dispenser, which deliver reliable touch-free activations. They also reduce cross-contamination, and the top fill sub model reduces the maintenance time to refill the sub dispensers. So as you can see in the picture, we can see the matching faucet and sub dispenser. This was a great idea since we also, aside from the functionality of the restroom, we also wanted to have some design on the restroom. So this is a nice finish, and as you can see, they match once they're placed in the lavatory, they look really nice. Because of the wall construction in the restroom, we opted for the Barrick automatic surface mounted quiet dry hand dryer, which is what you see right in the middle of the slide. This option has lower airflow and reduced noise, which is important in an office setting, especially when the restroom doors are being left open or removed. So right now in the office, the door is gonna stay. We're not removing the door, but in case when people just open the door and we have people working around the restrooms, it was key for us to keep in mind the noise that the hand dryer was gonna be, if the hand dryer was gonna be on. This was paired with the existing combination of paper towel and waste receptacle. Lastly, due to the COVID, matching full height urinals screens from Barrick newest cubicles, the Evolve series have been added as well. So as you can see, the urinals will match the Evolve series. If you want to know more about the Evolve series, I'll be more than happy to. You can reach out to us on the question and answers, and I'll be more than happy to give you more information. These products were selected and specified using ATS Spec tool and visualized using Visual Spec Builder. All in all, the goal is to create an effective flow of usage, one that provides a user their own space within the restroom and minimizes shared surfaces. This will prevent transmission and inoculation around the office. So we have this is something that is going to be evolving as architects design spaces for 2021 and beyond. We know there will be a new normal, obviously, and changes to society will affect the way that we lay out spaces. Some of these considerations include, first and foremost, creating single occupancy gender neutral stalls, including complete sinks and hand dryers, full height partitions, and public areas for washing and grooming. We will also have to work with the HVAC designers to improve the air filtration and ventilation within the building, which may mean more vents in a space, large docks, and large equipment. We will also be relying on building product manufacturer innovation, which makes stalls and toilet seats hands-free. using walls or partitions to minimize the need for doors and create turnaround corners for entryways. So this is going to be key, not only from the manufacturer perspective, but from the architectural perspective as well. More than likely, we will see policy changes in building code, which will make automatic solutions new standard for public buildings. Before I conclude the presentation, I would like to reiterate the strategies we were trying to implement to reduce transmission of COVID. And this is going back to Clement, what Clement mentioned before. First of all, frequent proper hand washing and drying, signage or indications for proper distancing hygienic practices, controlling overcrowding and traffic spaces, ensure adequate ventilation and airflow quality, cleaning and disinfecting with EPA-approved disinfectants, and lastly, increasing the frequency of cleaning. We understand that each project is different. Our partners like Babrick and Spectrum Lockers are here to support you with innovative products, as you could see. There are also software solutions like ATS Spec Tool or ATS Visual Spec Builder to help with product selections and renderings, as you have seen in this presentation. I'm sure most of you are surprised that these renders look really nice. I invite everyone that is interested in interacting with this tool to connect with us with the question and answers, and I'll be more than happy to teach you how to use this tool. If you're wondering how to access, if you're wondering how to access these virtual tools, you can leave us the contact. I encourage everyone to visit the Wabrick and Spectrum Division 10 booth for a chance to win a sanitizing station for your office and a shared coffee. Before I open the lines, I'd like to thank Alan and Clement for joining me today. We appreciate your time. So before I let you go, I do have some questions that I typically get asked from architects and designers, especially during these COVID months, during the last couple of months. Alan, I'm sure if you can help me with this question. What trends have Babrick seen in product demands since COVID?
Thank you, Nicholas. Let me respond to that. We've had a lot of requests from architects. We've had a lot of requests from building management of what can be done in the restroom to address the concerns of people who are using the restroom for their public health safety. The main subject is touchless. No one wants to touch anything in a restroom that they know has been touched by someone else, and they have no knowledge of when it was last cleaned or sanitized. So the touchless operation in a restroom goes into two areas of the restroom. One is the hand washing area, and that is the lavatory. And Babrick has responded to the needs of touchless at the lavatory for hand washing in terms of touchless soap dispensers, touchless hand sanitizer dispensers, touchless plumbing fixtures, the faucets, and for drying hands, a combination either of a touchless paper towel dispenser, an automatic touchless hand dryer, and even a product that combines automatic hand dryer with a waste receptacle and a paper towel dispenser. So those are some of the products that can be used to provide touchless hand washing and hand drying options at the lavatory. Now, there are other areas where touchless comes in, and that is been referred to in Nicholas's presentation and my presentation, where we talked about the exit and entry. No one wants to touch a door handle. So one way that we have suggested that need be met is by putting paper towel dispensers and waste receptacles in the area of the exit door. So as someone has washed their hands, they're moving out of the restroom, they can access a paper towel from a paper towel dispenser that is at or near the exit door. And in many cases, they'll put a waste receptacle can be placed at the exit door so that as someone has touched and pushed the door open with a paper towel protecting their hands and fingers, they have a waste receptacle there to place the paper that they've used to create a touchless experience at the exit. So we've had a sort of an increased use of paper towel dispensers and waste receptacles at exit doors. Now, the other area that has gotten a lot of attention is how do we make the toilet compartment a little more hygienic, and how do we contribute to a safer environment for the patron? And there are a couple things that have been done there. Number one, to increase the height of the toilet compartment panel, the divider, or the toilet compartment door, to create a toilet compartment that is more room-like. It offers more privacy for the patron in the compartment, and it captures more of the aerosol droplets that someone is breathing, because it's contained in a compartment that could have as much as 15 or 17 inches of more height to it. Those increased toilet compartments now go up to as high as 84 inches off the floor and to within 3 inches of the floor itself. You also can create a safer environment within the toilet compartment by providing a combination toilet tissue dispenser, toilet seat cover dispenser, and a waste disposal in a horizontal combination dispenser disposal unit that's installed below the grab bar. This is a convenient unit that provides hygiene and a more sanitary environment, and gives the patron a feeling that you're providing for their safety. Also, there are toilet partition door hardware options that are available that you don't necessarily need to touch with your fingers in your hand. They can be operated with your elbow or your forearm so that you're not, again, touching a door handle. And as we mentioned in the slide presentation, we showed a picture of a personal antiviral key that someone could use on a toilet compartment door latch as they exit the toilet compartment. So those are some of the trends that we have seen and have had requests for. How do we make the restroom more hygienic, and that those products and the application of those products is what we would offer as a solution.
And can I ask you, what is the response from the architects and designers with those solutions? Because with those products, you're targeting office buildings, you have schools. So what's been the response from the architects and the designers or the final users?
To answer your question about the architects or building owners' response to those suggestions, they've been very, very positive, and because they're offering practical solutions to the needs of the building management as well as the patrons using the restrooms.
Thank you, Alan. So, Clement, I do have a question from the manufacturer perspective. I'd like to know how has Boric adapted or launched new products with COVID concerns?
Nicholas, that's a great question. One of the things that we've done is, of course, the need for a hand sanitizing station. So as we mentioned during the presentation, this was developed in direct response to the requirements of putting hand sanitizers at all entry points, at egress points, whether it's in office buildings, whether it's in um, schools, anywhere you're walking in and out of. That has been a big demand. The A&D community has been reaching out to us um, about this, and then when COVID happened, it really the demand and requirement for this really went off the charts. So with that, we were able to really quickly develop um, a stand that we showed earlier on in the presentation, which also allows for you to put, to customize it, to put your corporate logo on it or any messaging that you want to do on top of the sanitizing stand.
So
So
it
that's
becomes part of the branding, basically.
absolutely. So property managers can put their logos or their messaging however they want to see fit. Um, from that, I would refer back to what Alan talked about with Evolve and the hardware that you can use without having to touch with your hands. The Evolve cubicles are really the way going forward. You noted about the fact that they're compact laminate, which is very, very tough against chemicals and harsh agents. You're not going to have any issues with that. And it addresses, to Alan's point, the privacy, giving you extended privacy from 9 inches to an inch off the floor with up to 82, 84 inches in privacy and height. So that allows you to do and separate and segregate and give people their space without and the privacy without them feeling nervous about, you know, um, droplets, etc., entering into their space. And the fact that you can enter and exit the unit or the cubicle rather without having to touch it with your hands. That's one of the big things that we see has taken away.
I wanted to ask you something about the soap dispensers. Something that I learned recently is that you're actually able to use the soap dispensers with the with antibacterial. Is that something? Can you explain? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that? I know it has a dual function right now that you were able to have with these soap dispensers.
Absolutely, absolutely. So the wall-mounted dispensers that we have, for example, the 2012 and the 2013, these units can not only dispense liquid soap and or um, um, a lotion soap, but they can also dispense um, sanitizers, either liquid or lotion, foaming or liquid. So that gives you some versatility. Absolutely.
That's great. Thank you, Clement. Thank you, Alan, for your responses. I just wanted to compliment on something that I introduced in the case study. When we were talking about the save screens, I mentioned the save screens that are CIFA 3 and CIFA 8. For those people that are on the line, I would like to talk to you about that. That is a product that is actually made with Trespa top lab material. Trespa is not in the market for the use for um, cladding as well as lockers, but it has been used for the safe screens because it will withstand all the chemicals that you typically use in healthcare environments or in this case in restrooms. So for those of you that want to know more information about that, I encourage you to go and visit the website. Spectrum Lockers is the website. You will be able to learn more about this product. We do have samples or products that have been installed in GTA. So if you want to know more about that, I'll be more than happy to help you with that.